Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. Today I am going through all of my ink collection and going through what my favorite fall inspired inks are. So I'll be swatching in my Hobonichi A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. Oh my gosh, I don't even have my nibs ready here. I have my Browse ornament nib in 3mm. I could try use the 5mm today, but let's use the 3mm. And then I have my stainless steel Kakamori nib here for writing. Let's get started. The first ink in my autumn or fall inks is Anderillium Tulip Moth Warm. I had a sample of this and oh my gosh, come on, open. And then bought this bottle at the Chicago Pen Show. I love this color so much because, well, one, it's a brown. And two, just trying to think of the best way to write this. Okay, so, but two, it's one of those browns that is so creamy and rich and lovely. And it's a brown that actually looks brown when you write with it, even with a fine or an extra fine nib. It's so, so pretty. And I know, yes, brown. It's like that line in Devil Wears Prada. Ooh, florals for spring, groundbreaking. I know, flower or brown for autumn. I know, so groundbreaking, but really, really pretty. Sorry, just wiping off my nib here. You'd think I'd be ready to do this. So this is Anderillium Tulip Moth Warm. I love the shading that's happening here already. So lovely. And then the line width, one of my favorite things. Wonderful. So, Anderillium Tulip Moth Warm. Next, we have Emario Stationery Toasty Joggers. And I love this kind of burnt yellow color because one, it's legible, and two, it's just so lovely. It's kind of this golden, burnt, orangey yellow color. Reminds me of the color of the leaves currently out there. Oh, so pretty. This is an ink that's actually really easy to use. It behaves really well. And I've also painted with this ink, and it is a fun ink to paint with. This is Emario Stationery Toasty Joggers. And I even like the name, like Toasty just feels very fall. Lovely. I really like that. It really represents the colors of the leaves here. So, Emario Stationery Toasty Joggers. The next fall inspired ink is Diamine Raw Sienna. Another brown. Yes, I know it's another brown, but it's a different brown. It's not exactly the same as Anderillium Tulip Moth Warm, I promise you. See, it's different. And I love that Tulip Moth Warm is more of like a reddish brown, but this feels like a brownier brown. You know what I mean? More your typical brown. Like Tulip Moth Warm has more red in it. This one feels like it has more of the yellows and greens in there. Isn't that beautiful? And then with my stainless steel nib. So this is Diamine Raw Sienna. And I love that this bottle is the small, is it 30 ml bottle? This feels like a manageable ink bottle size versus their 80 mils. So yeah, this one definitely feels like it has more yellow in the ink versus Tulip Moth Warm definitely looks like it has more red. So Diamine Raw Sienna. Next from Diamine, let's move this up a little bit here. Next from Diamine, we've got Sepia. And again, this was one of the inks that I had purchased really sight unseen. I don't think I'd ever tried a sample, but I saw it and I'm like, I have to get it. It's gorgeous. And I didn't think I would like this type of color, but I like this orange, this tone of orange. It's not, in your face, kind of punch you in the face orange. It's an autumn fall orange. It's lovely. And again, a Diamine ink. I love Diamine inks because they're consistent, they behave well, and they also have a huge range of inks. This is Sepia. I know, like last week, I just did my Diamine ink bottle collection and swatching these two again. I don't mind. I really like this orange and it does shade beautifully. So that is Diamine Sepia. The next ink is Diamine Weeping Willow. So this one is from the Purple Ink Event Calendar of 2023 and one that I haven't used very often since then, but I can appreciate how pretty this ink is. It's kind of similar to Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho, but definitely has so many shading properties in it. And it's a lighter, it feels like it's a lighter, less saturated version of Inaho, but still quite legible. And this is one of those ink bottles where I feel like this is a lot. Like, look at the size of this. This is 50 mils. And I mean, the Pilot Iroshizuku ones are 50 mils as well, but I don't know. It's amazing how different bottles, just in the shape, can hold the ink and still, like, look, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. Weeping. Can I correct that? Weeping. Okay. Willow. You saw that. You saw that. Yeah, I've been filming YouTube videos for how many years and I still have to watch myself when I'm writing and talking at the same time. But look at how that ink is drying, the different shading that's happening there. There's green, it looks like there's a little bit of pink, coral in there, along with the beigey brown. It's beautiful. So Diamine Weeping Willow, please don't mind the spelling error. The next ink is one that I don't have a bottle of, and all of the other inks that are in here I have bottles of, but I really needed to include it. It's Dominant Industry Maple, and it's just so fitting that it's maple and I'm in Canada and I see maple trees, and I also, don't live, like, I live in an area that has beautiful maple trees and leaves, and we get to see this beautiful color in our neighborhood right now. But what I love about this color is that it's not too dark of a red, and it's got that hint of orange in it as well. So it's that orangey red, but still muted enough that it doesn't feel like it's jumping out at you. Add some shading in here. And then I actually still have it inked up in my Model J. I need to clean that out. So then we have Dominant Industry Maple. I think this ink color is the perfect representation of that Dominant Industry Maple. The next ink I have also has autumn in the name. It is Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. I purchased this from Galen leather. Is it last year or the year before? And I've given out quite a few samples of this, so I'm running pretty low on this ink. But it's a beauty. It's this lovely green base with a pink shimmer. I mean, come on. Green with pink shimmer. There's not much else I can say about that. Lovely. And then you can see that pink shimmer come up as it's drying. So lovely. Let me agitate this a little bit more here. I think I only have one other bottle of a Dominant Industry ink. Dominant Industry is not one that I own very much of. So we have Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. Look at that pink that's coming through. Again, stunning. Oops. Lovely, lovely. Next, I have some Ferris Wheel Press inks here. I have Ferris Wheel Press Goose Poupon. I just love the name of it. And Ferris Wheel Press is actually a collection of inks that I will be showcasing because I actually have quite a few Ferris Wheel Press inks, not just in bottles, but a few samples that friends have sent me. And they're lovely. I'm not a fan of how they do the limited edition inks and then like once it's gone, it's gone. But otherwise, you know, some of their inks are really lovely. This is one of those inks that Grace of Wildly Imaginable calls baby poop green. And she's not wrong because it does kind of resemble that, but we all like the, what is it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember what the people in Simona's Discord group call it. It's going to come to me. So Ferris Wheel Press Goose Poupon. Swampy green. It's one of those swampy colors. I knew it would come to me. But I really like the olivey green of this. It is very much a fall color. The shimmer version of this is Queen and Castle, but I feel like that for the fall inspired inks, I wanted to keep it to this because I feel like this one is definitely more of those leaves that you're seeing on the ground right now. So Ferris Wheel Press, Goose Poupon. Next, I have Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour. Now, the first time I tried this was in one of those charger sets, so I only had 5 mils of it, and I said that I would never buy a full bottle. But somebody in Simona's Discord group was selling their bottle of this, and I could not pass that up because I really did love this color, and I did actually find it quite legible, even in a fine or an extra fine nib, because I know sometimes that can be a concern, especially with some of these lighter colors. But look at that brown. Yes, I know it's another brown, but it's fall. And there are some leaves that do look this color. And that's not really the only thing that I use to symbolize, like the colors of the leaves are not only the thing for me that symbolize fall, but like this would be a lovely color of a comfy cardigan, for example, or lovely socks. It's sweater weather. And this would be, I think I've actually used this ink to paint a sweater in my former sticker shop. So Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour. Lovely shading ink, but it's one of those browns that actually looks brown when you write with it. And for me, that is a big plus. Oh, look at that. Stunning. Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour. Next, we have Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss. And this was one of those inks that I really wanted, but it was sold out in so many places. Same with Goose Poupon. And then I think I found this at my local stationery store, of all places. They still had this and they still had Goose Poupon, so I had to get them. And this is just one of those lovely greens that is one of those darker, moodier greens that I think really represent the transition into fall. So pretty, but also, again, not too dark that you can't distinguish that it's a green. And for me, that's really important. Like, it's great to have saturation, but I don't want it to be so saturated that it almost looks too dark, too black, or almost black. So we have Ferris Wheel Press, Peter Moss. You know, I love swatching my inks in this way. It just reminds me of what I have in my collection. And even if I'm not inking them up in a pen, I still get to use them by showcasing them in this way. So that is Ferris Wheel Press, Peter Moss. And then last from Ferris Wheel Press, we have a writing desk. This is a Wonder Pens exclusive, and they are a shop in Toronto. Now, I didn't purchase this while I was visiting their shop. I did visit their shop back in 2022, and I could have spent hours there. But I didn't purchase this ink when I was there. I should have, because this is a very rich, saturated brown, and then when it dries, it's got a bit of a sheen to it. But it's still one of those browns that, to me, I can describe as like creamy. Look at that. It's got more of like a yellowish undertone, and it's one of those inks where you can't see it because I'm cleaning my nib off screen. But when you clean your nib or paintbrush or whatever it is that you're using, mixing this with water, you'll be able to see that there's like this kind of green highlighter, I guess, ink that's part of this that makes up this mix, or this makes up the specific color. It's a Ferris Wheel Press writing desk. Similar to some of the inks in, like, from Birmingham Pen Co, for example, where there's this kind of greenish highlighter yellowish ink that comes out when you mix it with water. So part of their mix has that, and part of this has this too. So again, Ferris Wheel Press writing desk. So pretty. Next we have Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. Now, I actually included this in my list last year, and it's still a great autumn ink. I actually just looked at my fall inks from last year, and some of them are still in this same list. So this ink looks like it's going down this very, very dark green. It's actually a lot of ink here, so it may take its time to dry. But once it dries, it doesn't really dry that green anymore. It becomes a lovely kind of greenish brown. And that's why I like this ink, is because it's a surprise. So this is Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. That's why I sometimes like Sailor inks, is because you think it goes down one color and then it dries something different. Amazing what science can do. Let's just wait for that to dry. Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. Next we have The Autumn Night After 1,000 Years. I couldn't not include this because, I mean, it does have the name autumn as part of, or it does have the word autumn as part of its name. So this is a lovely green with gold shimmer. I feel like I'm featuring green a lot more this year. than I did last year. But I really like that tone of green. And then this also has shimmer. So that gold shimmer definitely adds that extra autumn touch to it. Let me agitate this again to make sure, because those settle really quickly. So this is Wearingeul, Autumn Night. Why do I pick the ones with long names? Autumn Night. After 1,000 years. I may not have room to do the figure eights, but that's okay. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I really think that that gold shimmer just makes it. So that's Wearingeul, Autumn Night, After 1,000 Years. Next we have the Wearingeul, the Nightingale, and the Rose. And yes, I know if you've seen me use this before, it is another brown ink, but look at that shimmer. And I think the shimmer, let me just agitate this. I think the shimmer is going to, open the bottle. It's definitely going to make it a little bit more than just a brown ink. Because look at that. Stunning, stunning. I really love the base color of this, and then you add that shimmer, and yes, perfect. I can't remember if, I think I purchased this rather than had it gifted from Wearingeul. And it was another one of those inks that I bought without having tried a sample. That was definitely a leap of faith, being able to do that. So this is Wearingeul. Again, another one with a long name. Nightingale, the Nightingale. And the Rose. Can you see it drying now with all of that shimmer? Stunning. Love it. Love it. And last but not least, we have Wearingeul, the Star Child. I mean, this was one of the inks that I received from Wearingeul. It's an orange ink, but look at the shimmer. This was definitely not an ink that I would normally have gone for, but I'm so glad that I did, because look at that orange. Kind of reminds me of that golden orange from Teranishi Nostalgic Honey, but this has that pink shimmer. And I love my shimmer inks. And these shimmer inks work well in my fine and extra fine nibs. Yes, even the Wearingeul ones. Diamine definitely works well in my fine and extra fine nibs, and even Wearingeul actually works well. Dominant Industry works well. Actually, there's not a lot of shimmer in here. I have 2 Wearingeul, 1 Dominant Industry. I didn't choose any other shimmers. But just look at the tone of this. Whoops. So we have Wearingeul, the Star Child. Stunning ink, and that pink shimmer just makes it. Okay, my figure eights are not figure eighting. Perfect. Love that. So there are my favorite fall inks for 2025. I want to compare them to the inks that I had for fall last year. And I also chose 15 inks last year. And let's see what, if any, are similar. So I chose Diamine, Ancient Copper, and Autumn Oak last year. Didn't choose them this year. And I chose Raw Sienna, because it's a brown. I love that. Dominant Industry Autumn Forest is there. Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour and Peter Moss are both there. Writing Desk is there. Let's see. I did not have any Robert Oster Aurora and Klinger. I still had Sailor Manyo Shirakashi on there. I didn't include Tasha Ume Murasaki, but that is a good ink, I guess, for there's some leaves that do change that color. So, but I do like how this turned out. I feel like now if I was just doing bottled inks, I probably would have replaced Dominant Industry Maple with Tasha Ume Murasaki. But otherwise, it's interesting to see what inks I still like from last year's favorite fall inks list to now and what has changed in my collection since then. All right. I just wanted to show the comparison because it's interesting doing these videos year on year and seeing the difference, but also just even seeing the difference in how I swatch and the swatching tools that I use. Okay, but that is it for me. Oh gosh, I'm loving how Wearing Wool Autumn Night After 1,000 Years is drying. Love the shimmer in that. Look at, like, that's really, really saturated, but Shirakashi should look more brown. And I feel like because there was so much ink in the Browse ornament nib that it's not showing as much, but it should be more similar to that. It almost looks more yellow here, more green here. Could be the paper. It could be the paper because Peter Moss looks pretty similar. Writing Desk has more sheen on this paper, but still similar in tone. What else? Oyster Hour looks lighter here, more beige on this year's paper. Raw Sienna looks the same. Dominant Industry Autumn Forest has way more shimmer on this one. Interesting how that looks. Really interesting. Okay, now I'm wrapping up, I promise. So that is it for me. Let me know what your favorite fall inks are in the comments below. Not that I need any more recommendations, but I always welcome them. And don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thanks again and have yourselves a great day.